Hi, everybody. Okay, sorry that the recording didn't actually record from the call, the live call that I did, so I'm just recording it again. So what we're doing with the continuing education series is all of you have been given this folder of material, and it's all yours to kind of do what you want with. And I'm going to show you that here in just a moment, but going forward, we really would like your input on how you want this to work for your team. We know that several of you are already doing your own continuing education series on your own teams. And if that's the case, then let us know right away so that we can pull out your team's information from the communication that we send forward, just so that it's not confusing. Like, who's continuing education am I following, and who's sending me my prizes, so that it's a little bit easier to understand. And so, yeah, let us know that information. For those that are doing the ones that we're doing, this is what it will look like going forward. We are going to, obviously Callie can't send thousands and thousands of diffusers for those that complete the training, because she has 50,000 people on her team. But we would really like to partner with the silvers and above that feel like they can contribute to this experience. So what we were going to do is, once everybody submits like, hey, yay, I completed all 8 of the things and I'm ready to have my free diffuser, we were going to reach out to the silvers and above in that person's upline and say, hey, you have someone on your team that finished the 8-week education series. Congratulations, yay, this is why this is so great and what it will mean for your retention, hopefully. Would you be willing, or are you in a place to send this person a free diffuser? Here's an Amazon link for one that's only $15. And if they are in a place, then great. If they aren't in a place to do that, then we continue to reach out to their upline for that support. And then if there's no one that can do that, then that's where we would step in and help support that. And maybe they send us the money and then we ship it out, or preferably they would ship it out and right from their Amazon, and it would make that a simpler process. But we can kind of work with people on what that would look like. So now let me show you how to use the material. So here's what it looks like. Okay, so once you actually go into the folder that we've shared with you, there are several different things here. The PDF tear sheets are things that we are going to send to everybody before they actually attend the class, and so they can follow along with you. So you may want to look at your tear sheet and see what it is that they're looking at. And it looks very similar to the PowerPoint, you might notice. But they're going to be following along with this, hopefully. They'll have it printed or at least pulled up on their computer so they can follow along with you. And you can also, these example videos by Dana Moore, it's her and her team that have taught these classes live. And so you can see what it looks like when she teaches these classes. And please don't share these. These are not meant to be shared. These are just educational so that you can get an idea of how to teach them. So you're welcome to look here at your specific class and see like, oh, this is how she teaches it. I feel confident moving forward. And you can even use the PowerPoint templates that are already done. So if you're teaching the toxin free class, you just click on the PowerPoint, or it's actually a Google slide, and you can see it's set to view only. So what you're going to do is you're going to click File, Make a Copy, and click Entire Presentation. And that way you can make this your own. But please use this presentation as your template. Don't recreate it from scratch. And then let's say you want to add an intro slide about you and your family. Let's say that you want to add a testimonial right here. You can do all sorts of things. But the key here is, please do not remove at the end. You'll notice that there is an intro to the business, which is basically like a teaser to sharing and getting their oils paid for. And each one looks a little bit different than the class before it. And so please make sure that you do this on the end of every class. So the outline for these classes looks something like this. It's 30 to 45 minutes of education and 15 minutes of the business teaser, and questions at the end. And we really are hoping that the questions, you'll wait until the end, since we're going to use the live recording for future use. And so we can cut off the questions and make the recording nice and clean for when we're sharing with people in the future. So don't take the questions throughout the presentation, and you can let them know right off the front. Write down all your questions or type them in the chat, and then we'll get to them right at the end of the presentation. And so if you have questions, type them away and we'll make sure that we get to them. But during the presentation, we're just going to keep going. And so that is how you're going to use this. Okay, now let's look over at the scripts. So we actually have, we used a transcription service to transcribe all of the Dana Moore's presentations, the example videos that I showed you, and that's here in the original transcriptions. So you don't worry about those ones because that one, they're all confusing where it's like timed. Go to Pam's edits, and here you'll see that it's broken down by slide. So going back to the toxin-free one, you'll see it's broken down by slide 1, and then slide 2, and slide 3, and there's a lot here, so don't feel like you have to use it word by word. Like, this is really just to give you a starting point. Maybe looking at a whole paragraph is not how you present well, and so if that's the case, then please make sure you make a copy. This is our number one thing. I may actually make these so that you can't edit them, but because I don't want them to get messed up. Click File, Make a Copy. File, make a copy. File, make a copy. Please do not edit this. File, make a copy. And then you can edit this yourself. Add all the bullet points, do whatever you need to do so that it's your own, so that you feel comfortable presenting it. Just make sure that it follows that basic outline that's in the PowerPoint with the business thing at the end, and then make it your own. Add your own things to it, but don't do it word by word because then it will just feel like it's not authentic. Okay, so those are the edits. File, make a copy. Okay, and what we're going to do with this is we are actually going to send everybody an email so they can register for the webinar, and they'll have access to all 8 of the videos, or all 8 of the live classes by registering once through a webinar, not a meeting, but a webinar. And in the webinar, they're going to be given access to the tear sheet for their classes and the punch card. This is the punch card. So they're going to download this, and this is where they're going to record and keep track of which classes they've attended, the date they attended, and the code word for that class. So you've noticed in the email that I sent you that your class has a code word. So towards the end, not at the very, very end, because we don't want people to skip through and say, I just listened to the code word so I can get my diffuser. Just kind of like, 10 minutes or so towards the end. I don't know, you kind of figure out what feels natural. Drop the code word in there and say, okay, are you ready? I'm about to give you the code word for this class. So if you're working towards your free diffuser by listening to the 8-week education series, here's your code word. Grab your pens and get ready to write it down. Are you ready? Okay, the code word is lemongrass. And then let them give that kind of anticipation towards it so that they have a time to write it down instead of just dropping in the word lemongrass somewhere and expecting them to pick it up. And then they're going to write it down on their punch card. And then once they've watched all 8 of them, they're going to go to the link that we've sent them in the email, and it's going to take them to a form where they're going to take everything from the punch card and transfer it over to the form. And they're going to basically fill out all their information, their mailing address, and everything we need to send them their diffuser, and say which classes they've attended and the code word for those classes. So they're going to say, yes, I attended that class and the password is lemongrass. Yes, I attended and the password is peppermint, or whatever. And this is how we know who did it. And then we're going to reach out to them, and this is where we will reach out to their upline and say, hey, Julie submitted finished the 8-week series. You as her upline, are you in a place to send her a free diffuser? Here's a few links to some inexpensive options. And then if they're able to send one, then great. And then if not, then we might be able to step in and help. But we really are trying to put the onus on the teams that are able to support them. And obviously we want to help those that are not in a place to do that. But so many of them are in a place to support them. And we have so many different platinums and diamonds on the team that we can't do this on our own. It's not something that we can sustain on our own. So we're really hoping that we can get your help in making that work. So this is how it will all function, and we're excited to have you all present with us and to make this work. What we're going to do is we're going to plug these all we're going to take the live recordings again and share them after the 8 weeks. So hopefully, again, just tag the questions on the end so that instead of taking them inside of the webinar. So if you have any questions, you've all been given a panelist link. You've probably been given 2, but disregard the first one and go with the final one, and that's the one that you're going to use to join the webinar. Even if you get a reminder that says, hey, you're a panelist on this week's call, just focus on the email reminder for the week that you know you're presenting, because we just put you all as panelists for the recurring meeting. And so don't get alarmed by the recurring panelist reminders that you might be getting. Just focus on the one that you're presenting and you'll be good. Okay, so that is everything, and I hope that you find that helpful. We're really excited to have you present with us, and we'll talk to you soon.